My family moved when I was in 4th grade into a ramshackled home on a desirable woodsy island off Long Island Sound. The location and school district seemed a steal, despite the house's decrepitude, moldy ceilings, termite-infested walls, and a well that pumped metallic-tasting water. And my father, a Southern Italian immigrant born into poverty and pestilence, also a survivor of World War II, performed miracles with jars of spackle and the discontinued paint he'd bought half off at some faraway hardware store he frequented for its sales. We loved our new home and delighted in calling it our mansion, despite the way it seemed to sag under its sad history. Abandoned by the previous owners, the pert realtor explained. A family with 3 sons. She sped through the summary. Teenage boys turned delinquent, drugs and alcohol, a messy divorce, etc., etc. Years later, we'd hear the full story. The mother of the wild boys had tried to kill herself twice. First, by stabbing herself in the kitchen where we'd sing happy birthday and hold Christmas family dinners. Second, and this time successfully, by jumping out the window in the room that would become my bedroom. What mattered most to me as a child growing up in that house wasn't the story of that lost family, but what they left behind. Books. Shelves upon shelves of books that covered 2 walls in the musty, cavernous basement. Some hardcovers, but mostly dog-eared paperbacks and pocket-sized mass-market editions, almost all novels. From Madame Bovary to The Clan of the Cave Bear to The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. My parents did not care about the books, or I suspect, consider their genre, their quality, or their suitability for a young reader like myself. Through their immigrant and working-class bred eyes, books were books, to be admired, collected, and displayed in the hope that their sophisticated light would reflect back on you. I imagine this practice of imbuing objects with transformative power is common in people with immigrant and blue-collar roots. Isn't it a pillar of the American dream? Money spent in the right way can allow you to reinvent your identity. Rewrite your story, past, present, and future drafts. It wasn't as if I'd never had books. My father, for whom reading in English is still a challenge, but whose yearning to learn never stopped him from trying, drove me to the public library every Saturday morning. But the books in the basement were my own. I could read them while eating, take them on hikes in the woods, even flip through their pages while soaking in the bathtub. I could do with them as I pleased. They made me giddy with power. Today, I own approximately 3,000 books. I have gone into debt buying books and made poor financial choices again and again for the love of books. Buying a stack of glossy-covered novels instead of paying off bills. Binge-ordering a dozen buzzed-about novels online instead of putting money aside for my children's college fund. When my annual credit card report arrives each year, and when I prepare my annual taxes, I wince at the hefty number under books and wonder naively if there was a computing mistake. Why can't I borrow these books from the library? Why must I own them? I arrived at the Iowa Writers' Workshop a few weeks before my 23rd birthday. My car towing a U-Haul filled mostly with books that my then-boyfriend, whom I would marry shortly after graduation, had helped me pack and carry. I had focused on early American and Russian literature as an undergraduate, and I thought of those books' authors as my family. A mostly white, dead, and bearded male family, except for matriarch Edith Wharton. Like most families, it wasn't one I'd chosen myself.